The first time the truth threatened to surface, it came like a tremor through cold steel, rattling bolts and hearts alike, because some secrets are forged in grease and silence and can only be broken by love. In a small American town where broken engines were easier to fix than broken lives, one woman carried a secret beneath her mechanic's uniform, and another arrived needing her car repaired without knowing it would be her own heart that would be rebuilt. Before the story deepens, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen between imperfect people, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still healing. Sarah Coleman had learned early how to disappear in plain sight. She wore her dark hair pulled back tight, her hands always stained with oil, her shoulders squared as if bracing against a wind that never stopped blowing. She ran Coleman Auto Repair on the edge of town in Ohio, a place where cornfields met rusted fences and everyone knew everyone else's last name but not their private pain. Sarah's shop smelled of metal and gasoline, and it felt safer to her than most homes ever had. Cars did not ask questions. Engines did not judge. They simply broke, and she fixed them. What no one knew was that behind her calm competence lived a carefully guarded truth about who she loved and why she had learned to keep it hidden. Years ago, faith had been used like a hammer against her heart, and she had buried parts of herself so deeply that even she sometimes forgot they were there. Rebecca Moore arrived in town on a gray afternoon with rain-soaked roads and a car that refused to cooperate. She was new, freshly divorced, carrying the invisible weight of a life that had collapsed quietly. Rebecca had moved from Chicago to care for her aging mother, trading skyscrapers for silence. She wore grief like a second coat, heavy and damp, and when her car sputtered and died near the auto shop, it felt like the final insult in a season of losses. She walked into Sarah's garage with tired eyes and an apology already forming in her chest, not knowing that this threshold would change everything. From the beginning, something shifted in the air when Rebecca stepped inside. Sarah noticed it the way she noticed a misaligned belt or a hairline crack in a block. There was a softness in Rebecca that contrasted sharply with the harsh world Sarah had built around herself. Rebecca spoke with gratitude even when frustrated, and her smile carried sadness rather than entitlement. As days passed and repairs stretched longer than expected, Rebecca returned again and again, sometimes with baked bread she insisted was a thank you, sometimes just to check in. Sarah told herself it was normal, that clients came back all the time, but she also felt a tightening in her chest that had nothing to do with work. Rebecca, on her side, found herself lingering longer than necessary, asking questions she already knew the answers to, watching the way Sarah moved with quiet confidence among the tools and machines. There was something grounding about Sarah, something solid and real that Rebecca had not felt in years. Her marriage had been built on appearances and expectations, on who she was supposed to be rather than who she truly was. Now, standing in a grease-stained shop in Ohio, she felt a strange sense of relief, as if parts of her were waking up after a long sleep. The secret Sarah carried began to feel heavier with each passing day. She was careful, always careful, because the town was small and memory was long. She attended church on Sundays, sat in the back, bowed her head, and prayed for strength, not change. Loving women had cost her family once, and she had sworn never to pay that price again. Yet Rebecca's presence unsettled her defenses. Small moments began to matter too much, a shared laugh over a stubborn bolt, a quiet understanding during a pause. Sarah told herself it was dangerous, that she was reading meaning where there was none, but the heart does not listen easily to reason. Challenges came swiftly, as they often do when truth threatens to emerge. Rebecca's mother fell ill, pulling Rebecca into nights of hospital corridors and days of exhaustion. Sarah offered help in the only way she knew how, fixing Rebecca's car without charge, checking in quietly, leaving food at the door without expecting thanks. The town noticed. Whispers started, subtle at first, then sharper. Two women spending too much time together, kindness mistaken for something else. Sarah felt old fears rise, memories of rejection and sermons that had cut deep. She began to pull away, convincing herself that distance was mercy. Rebecca felt the change like a cold draft. She blamed herself, assumed she had asked for too much without realizing it. Loneliness returned with a vengeance, sharper because she had tasted connection. One evening, overwhelmed by fear and gratitude and something she could no longer name, Rebecca stood alone in her kitchen and finally admitted the truth she had avoided for decades. Her marriage had failed not because she was broken, but because she had never been honest about who she was. The realization terrified her, but it also brought a fragile hope. When Rebecca confronted Sarah, it was not with accusations but with vulnerability, the kind that leaves no room for defenses. She spoke of confusion, of gratitude, of feelings she did not fully understand but could not ignore. Sarah listened in silence, heart pounding, the shop around them suddenly too small to contain what was happening. For the first time in years, Sarah felt seen, not as a mechanic, not as a secret, but as a woman capable of love. Fear screamed inside her, warning of consequences, but another voice, softer and braver, reminded her how empty her life had been without truth. Their relationship did not unfold in grand gestures but in quiet courage. They took walks at dusk where the fields glowed gold, shared meals that felt like home, and spoke honestly about faith, pain, and the ways they had learned to hide. Sarah revealed her past, the family she had lost, the church that had taught her to fear herself. Rebecca listened with compassion, not trying to fix but to understand. Slowly, trust replaced terror. Love grew not as a firestorm but as a steady light, warming places long left cold. The town did not change overnight. There were looks, silences, a few words that cut. Sarah's business suffered briefly, and Rebecca's mother struggled to accept what she could not easily understand. But there were also unexpected allies, neighbors who valued kindness over judgment, customers who stayed loyal because integrity mattered more than rumors. Through it all, Sarah and Rebecca learned that courage was not the absence of fear but the decision to live honestly despite it. Faith, once a source of pain for Sarah, began to heal in unexpected ways. She found solace in private prayer, discovering a God who loved without conditions, who met her not in condemnation but in compassion. Rebecca, too, found peace in redefining what faith meant to her, letting go of rigid expectations and embracing grace. Together, they built a life rooted in truth, small but profound. As seasons changed, the mechanic's shop remained, still smelling of oil and metal, but now it held laughter and warmth alongside the work. Sarah no longer felt like she was hiding. Rebecca no longer felt like she was running. Their love did not erase the past, but it gave it meaning, transforming wounds into wisdom. Just before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with a heart or a word of hope if you believe that love can heal even the deepest scars. Near the end of this story, if it touched your heart in any way, if it reminded you that honesty and love are worth the risk, please like this video, share it, and leave a comment. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who might need this message today. In the end, the mechanic's secret was no longer a burden but a testimony, not shouted from rooftops but lived quietly and bravely every day. In a small American town, two women chose truth over fear, love over silence, and in doing so, they found not just each other, but themselves.